So I've had Blue Apron before, wanted to try it again for you guys and see, is it still worth it? We're doing the creamy prosciutto and lemon pesto. I've had the pesto before and I usually really like it, but from what I've noticed, the pastas are usually the smallest portions. So let's dive into this whole dish. I do have water boiling already. The first thing you gotta do is chop up this broccoli. The thing they don't really do is give you great portions, so I like to chop the broccoli in half because this is supposed to be for 2 people, so I cut everything in half so there's just double the portion. Need lemon juice, so cut this lemon in half, squeeze all the juice out into the small little cups I have. I love these things. Definitely recommend them for your kitchen. They'll be super useful. A few seeds got in, so I'm going to go and I'm going to grab those seeds real quickly because you don't want them in your pasta. But once you do that, you move on. You gotta, for this recipe, there's crispy prosciutto on the top, so you gotta take it all out and stack it. It was very difficult to pull out. It was sticking to everything, but it said to just make a little pile like this and then go in and chop it up into little bits. So that's what we did. I didn't really like the size they gave me, so I went and kind of cross-cut it also. It's all stuck together, but it'll break up a little more in the pan. Speaking of the pan, great, love my mise en pans. Add in some olive oil, not extra virgin. I like to use regular olive oil because it is cheaper and it has a little better frying and sauteing, in my opinion. Add the prosciutto to the pan at this point, and you're going to basically cook it down until it's crispy and good to go. The issue that I notice is since you're doing this first, it's going to be sitting for a while and you'll see that comes back, but that's a common Blue Apron issue. Break it up a little bit in the pan also so it doesn't all kind of stick to itself, and I'm just going to let this cook down and let the fat render a bit. As you can see here, it's getting crispy. It's not totally there yet, but we're getting to the point. When you're done, you got to put it onto the paper towel, but here we are, good, basically crispy, a little bit brown, a little sticking to the bottom of the pan, which I want because that flavor will roll over into cooking the broccoli. Take it out. I try to pull it a little bit away from the oil so I'm not just pouring all the oil out with it, but that is hard to do. But you are putting it onto the paper towel for that reason, to soak up a bunch of the oil. Next, we'll add our pasta. This should cook for around 8 to 10 minutes. Took a little longer than that because these are very thick pasta. They're like cavatelli shape. In goes the broccoli. You're cooking it in the prosciutto fat and the olive oil, so you're going to take some of that flavor with you. We're also going to add roasted red pepper flakes. It came with the recipe, but all of the Blue Apron recipes, you can add them or leave them out. I chose to cook with them. Toss it a little bit, get it going. Then you need to add water, but I added a little bit of extra olive oil first just to help the saute. It was looking a little dry. So you add in that half a cup of water or a quarter of a cup, whatever it's at, and you cover it in foil. Very simple. This is basically steaming it while also kind of frying the bottom of it. Love this technique. It's great for broccoli. Once you get it covered, you're going to let it cook for 3 to 4 minutes, and it should be fairly nice, fairly broken down. Not broken down, but soft and fibery, broccoli terms. I then continue cooking a little bit. I like to add a little butter to help kind of give it that final saute. The recipe doesn't call for that, but that's just kind of how I like to make broccoli. You could, all these Blue Apron recipes, you can, little tweaks if you like them. They're not always necessary, but I prefer to just add a little add a little butter. Pasta's done. Strain that off. Add your broccoli. You're supposed to cook it all in the saute pan. You're supposed to put the pasta into that, but it was just I know it was gonna overflow, so I didn't want to deal with that. Add a little bit of your pasta water back in. Mix that up for 2 or 3 minutes, it said. I guess they wanted to kind of cook it a little bit extra. Next, you're going to add in that creme fraiche. You're also going to add in the basil pesto that it comes with. I love their pesto, so that's kind of why I wanted to make this recipe. It's one of my favorites, but the lemon juice you add here, spoiler alert in the end, I think it was a little overpowering. But then you're going to mix this up. I add a little extra pasta water in just to help make this a very nice sauce. That starch in the water really brings things together nicely. Stir it until it looks well incorporated. It doesn't look watery. It doesn't look too saucy. I reheated up the prosciutto, as you can see there on the side, just because they had been sitting out for 15 minutes waiting, so they got a little cold. But then you put it all together, add your prosciutto over the top, very nice, and then you're just going to sprinkle some nice Parmesan cheese over it. All in all, this meal was good. I don't hate it. I think it is worth the price. The pasta portions are a little small and the lemon was overpowering, but this was a really good dish, so I recommend.